So this is some late breaking news that some people might just gloss over, but I think there's some important details here, other than the fact that it's just cool. Um, Apparently DC Comics is doing a new line of comics in the world of the classic Superman and Batman movies, like Batman '89 with Michael Keaton and Batman '78 with Christopher Reeves, and they're making that its own comic book line. Now, before we get into it, this is actually nothing new for DC Comics. After Smallville ended, they continued with, I believe it was called Smallville Season 11. It was a comic run of basically, well, what happens to Clark after Smallville ends. Now that we don't have to pay Tom Welling to be in a Superman costume, we can actually have a Superman in the comics, because Tom Welling, as much as I like Smallville, he was also one of the biggest detriments to Smallville of refusing to wear a Superman costume or flying or anything like that. I think this is awesome, and I'm actually really surprised that it's taken them this long. However, I think there's a reason why they're choosing to do this now. And one of the DC movies that's coming in the not-so-distant future that should be going into production in a few months is Ezra Miller's The Flash. Now, rumors have been circulating forever, and it seems more than likely that Michael Keaton's Batman will show up as one of the Batman in the Flash movie. Interesting that we're all of a sudden getting some life again from the Michael Keaton Batman with the comics. I was just thinking of this as a comic run that could boost some sales a little bit, but I think it was 3C Films on Twitter, shout him out, he's great, that suggested this idea that maybe they want fans to get some form of this is what's been going on in the world of Batman leading up to the events of The Flash, to get that cross-promotion going. Unfortunately, we can't really do anything with the Christopher Reeves thing due to his passing many years ago, but I think it would be cool to go back to the Christopher Reeves era and continue telling that. But since we're not doing it for film or TV, we can do whatever we want on the page. We can have, oh, dude, we never had Christopher Reeves Superman fight Brainiac or Bizarro or Doomsday. How cool would it be to have Christopher Reeve Superman fight Doomsday? Even if it's just in a comic, I think there's a lot of interesting possibilities that could come of this. I think had Christopher Reeve still been alive, we could have had a really cool Christopher Reeves meets Henry Cavill moment, but we'll probably get that in The Flash with the Batmans. I just don't think it's an accident that they're just now saying, oh, hey, guys, we've had these really iconic comic book characters forever that you loved way back when. Now you can revisit their epic adventures years later in the comic book page, right as we're about to reintroduce one of them back on the big screen. Michael, am I crazy? You think there's something to that?
No, I think there is. I think there absolutely is. And and I guess let me ask you this though. Is this something that not only with you, like how hard is this to sell to the hardcore fan base? Is this a pretty easy thing for them to accept and to want?
For the hardcore fan base, I don't think this is a hard sell at all, because the hardcore fan
Okay.
base has grown up watching these, and also we are used to, I don't know if this will be a limited run or a long run, we are used to characters that we know and love, like a Batman, a Superman, a Nightwing, Spider-Man, whoever, having a certain story and then all of a sudden going, we're going to continue the story, but over here, we've got this separate story going on. Like, as comic book fans, that happens all the time. Just with Batman, you've got Batman Incorporated, All-Star Batman, Detective Comics, and with Superman, you got Superman, Action Comics, All-Star Superman. You've got all kinds of different comic lines running at the same time, so I don't think this is anything new. It's just another
Okay.
story to be told. Now, I don't know if it'll be a limited series, like a mini series, or an ongoing series as much as they can. I think they just want something to pop sales for a little bit too, because comics as a medium is not really a big seller. It actually is not doing as bad in the pandemic as people projected it to, but it's still not high on AT&T's priority list currently, now that they own Warner Brothers. This is the equivalent of what, like, wrestlers bringing back, like WWE bringing back an old wrestler. It's to pop a rating, but sometimes it works, and I think might be one of those times that it works, because people love the Christopher Reeves movies. They love the Michael Keaton movies, but physically, you can't do much more with their stories, but on the page, you still
Right.
can. The page is not limited like a TV or movie budget is. The page is wonderful because you can put whatever you want on there without budgetary constrictions. And I think that if I'm a writer, I'm really salivating over this because there's a lot of interesting creative freedom that you can have here.
Hmm. Well, that's good to know because for me, I haven't, and I apologize. I mean, again, I'm kind of like this person hanging out in left field. I haven't seen them. Like the only I've never seen any Batman film outside of Nolan's trilogy
I didn't
at
make you.
all.
I didn't make you
No,
watch any in college, like Mask of the Phantasm.
no, no. I haven't watched. I mean, I grew up with the animated series
Yeah,
and
Mask of the
Batman.
Phantasm is a sequel to the animated series.
Yeah, which I've never seen. And I've seen
Dude.
Batman Beyond growing up, and I'm just
You,
I've never seen any of that stuff. So when I see this news, I'm happy, and I'll say this, I'm happy for the hardcore fans because they're the ones that like I don't say deserve. I don't like to use that word. I don't like to use the word
mm-mm.
entitled either. But I feel as if they are in a way to get some of this back, and I'm very glad. I mean, I guess let me pose it this way, possibly. Is this type of move? It's for the hardcore fans, right? This is not trying to go after somebody like myself, right? Like I'm not
I
the
think
target
this is.
audience.
I think this is
Oh,
a move for the casuals because, say, someone like you or someone else that may not know Batman comics, but you see Batman '89 or something that looks suspiciously like Christopher Reeves Superman, that's going to catch your eye and go, wait, that's a Batman I recognize. What's happening here? That was a movie. Is
okay.
this a comic too? And then you'll thumb through it, and if it looks interesting, you might buy it. And if it has an interesting hook to it, you might buy the next one. And next thing you know, you're reading and buying comics. So I think this is more of a play for the casuals and the hardcores. The hardcores will buy just about anything, but also can be driven away really, really quickly. I think this is a nostalgia ploy for people that don't read comics on the regular. And if you don't read comics on the regular, this might be a good place to start. I think everyone can have a good entry point into comics. You just got to kind of know where you want to jump into. Um, you said you haven't seen Mask of the Phantasm? For next week, you should watch that. That's the best Batman movie ever made. It's a sequel, kind of.
Really?
It's kind of a sequel to the Batman animated series. It's both a sequel and a prequel. So it's set in the Batman animated universe. I don't want to say too much, but it details kind of the origin of Batman, but not, while having a completely new and original villain in the Phantasm, and it's outstanding. It basically poses the question of, did Bruce Wayne always have to be Batman? What if there was a happier route that he could have taken? What if he had the option to be happy at one point in his life?
And that came out in 1993?
Yup.
Huh.
And for my money, no Batman movie has yet to beat it. It's still phenomenal. There's one scene, this isn't a spoiler, and I want this to be in a live action movie someday. There's a scene where he suits up as Batman for the first time. You don't see his face, it's all in shadow. And it actually scares Alfred. Like, he gasps, going, what is this thing before me now? And I've always kind of wanted to see that because it means that Bruce Wayne's gone. And if you've scared Alfred, who is watching you get ready, then you know you are now fear. You are the knight. You are Batman. It's so good. I could talk about Mask of the Phantasm all day. And I probably could.